What's up, everybody? Back for another beer review, and today I'm reviewing a beer from Brewery Ommegang, and they're out of Cooperstown, New York, and this is their Bourbon Barrel Vanilla Smoked Porter. So this is a smoked porter aged in bourbon barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans. Comes in at 8.9% alcohol by volume, 26 IBUs at the time of review. This bottle is just over 3 months old. So I had no idea this beer was coming out. It was about a month ago. I saw this on the shelves when I was in Rochester, New York. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to grab it because it sounds interesting. And yeah, it is. I mean, it's basically their base smoked porter, and they throw it in bourbon barrels with Madagascar vanilla beans for 6 months. And not much more to say about it other than that. It says serve at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to listen to Ommegang in this situation. This beer's been out of the fridge for about a half an hour. It's probably around 50 to 55 at this point, so we'll see if that does anything. I mean, they are the brewer, and they should know what they're talking about, so we'll see. I would normally drink this closer to room temperature, but, you know, whatever. We'll give it a go. So I used to have a Ommegang glass, and about a month and a half ago, I noticed there was a pretty big crack in it, so RIP Ommegang glass. So no hashtag proper glassware. I'm kind of bummed out. What are you going to do? I used it once, or maybe a couple times actually on the channel, and no longer. I might have to look into get another one. I really liked it. Anyway, this pours out a really nice, deep, dark, you know, that's kind of just, in the glass it looks straight on pitch black. It was more like a deep, dark brown, but in the glass, yeah, pitch black, about a finger of a straight up mocha colored head. Very creamy looking. Looks nice. Let's get a nose on it. Wow, there's a shit ton of vanilla. Wow. Yeah, holy crap. There is so much vanilla in this. It's crazy. So you're obviously going to get, you know, some vanilla character from the barrels, but then on top of it, they're using Madagascar vanilla beans, and yeah, this is all the vanilla. If you like vanilla just based on the nose alone, you're going to love, absolutely love the aroma of this beer. There's nice sweeter milk and dark chocolate underneath. A little bit of that bourbon spirit as well. And as this is opening up in the glass, I didn't get it the first couple sniffs, but there is an ever so slight like campfire smoke, but it's very suppressed and underneath everything. At the same time, this does smell pretty good. Yeah, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know if you haven't watched the channel for a long time, when it comes to smoke beers, not necessarily my favorite. You know, it has to be a like subdued, mild smoke character, and this is what is in the glass for me right now from them. This is a mild smoked porter underneath it. Now, I've never had the base smoked porter. I probably should have tried that. I have never seen that, actually. I should probably give it a go if I do. But based on the aroma alone, I'm really digging this. Very complex. It seems like it's going to be sweeter, but I'm getting nuances of the base beer, nuances of the barrel, and full-on vanilla beans. It smells awesome. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Oh, that's really nice. Whew. That's really, really nice. Wow. First thing on my palate is I'm getting this, it's really cool. And don't perceive this in a negative way, but I'm getting this almost like root beer, almost cream soda vibe to it, which is really cool. It really is. I know for a lot of people that might be like a turnoff when people mention like root beer in a porter or a stout or something. That indicates that to a lot of people that's just not for them. They're not looking for that, but it's really nice in this one for me. Yeah, so I would say more to the cream soda side of things because there is a lot of vanilla. The body itself, 8.9%. It's like medium, higher side of medium. It is a touch thin, but it's a porter. That's probably already, you know, I can't imagine it being any bigger than like 8%, maybe 8.5%. So you're already talking about like an 8.5% beer going into the barrels and whatnot. And, you know, it's going to thin it out for 6 months. It should thin it out, and it is. This is like medium, higher side of medium. It is a bit thin. The mouthfeel itself, though, there's pretty good carbonation here. Yeah, it's a little bit more carbonated. I will say this, the body and mouthfeel for me, a little bit lacking. But I can look past that because the flavors in here are really nice. So like I said, cream soda, a little bit of root beer. So it passes through the palate, lots of milk and dark chocolate. Then there's a ton of vanilla everywhere in the palate. Like you cannot, it's omnipresent. It's all over the place. It is the predominant note. It is big. If you don't like vanilla, you probably won't like this beer. Luckily, I love vanilla, so I'm really digging it. That smoked porter characteristic kind of comes halfway through the palate, and it leaves a slight smokiness for me on the back end. with a semi-dry finish. This actually dries out a decent amount, and there's like a touch of bitterness there too, blending in with that smoke. So while the entire nose was screaming sweetness and more sweetness and all the sweetness, and then when I taste it in the first half, the palate's super sweet, you're thinking this is going to be a huge dessert beer. It's going to become cloying. It doesn't for me. It finishes pretty dry. Like I said, semi-dry, and it has a decent amount of bitterness on the back end. So from that aspect, it's pretty balanced. Now, there's some people that probably would want more of that base smoked porter popping to the forefront. I'd like a little bit more roastiness in this. I would like a touch more smoke, even though it's not my favorite, because it's just a, a kiss on the finish. But I love vanilla. I love bourbon barrels, that is, when beers are aged in them. I'm not getting a ton of the barrel. There is that vanilla that's probably getting lost with the vanilla beans. There's a little bit of like an oak tannin dryness on the back end that blends in with that smoked porter, slight smokiness. But for the most part, I'm really digging this because of the vanilla, because of that sweeter milk and dark chocolate. Yeah, for like just a grab it off the shelf, looks interesting kind of beer. I think I paid less than $4 for this. I want to be like $3.54. It's a 12-ounce bottle. But you're talking about 8.9% bourbon barrel aged smoked porter with Madagascar vanilla beans. I'd expect to pay a premium to some extent. Yeah, I'm really digging this one. I will say the body and the mouthfeel being, not as good as I hoped, knocks it down a little bit. Not getting a ton of bourbon, that knocks it down a little bit. But for me, I think this is a really well-made smoked porter, aged in bourbon barrels with vanilla beans. Yeah, so the bourbon barrel, Bourbon barrel vanilla smoked porter from Ommegang. I'm going to give that a straight solid 4.25 out of 5. If you see this hanging out on the shelves, definitely pick this up and give it a go if you like vanilla. If you're not a vanilla fan, I can't see how somebody would enjoy this if you don't really care for vanilla, because that is the predominant note. There's a ton of it in here. It's kind of hard to get past that. So if you don't like vanilla, stay away from this one. If you do, definitely grab this one, especially for the price point and the availability. Like I said, it was just on the shelf, and I believe this got released sometime in early to mid-March, so you probably will see these on the shelves throughout the rest of spring into summer. Anyway, I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. Hopefully you're enjoying a delicious beverage as well. And until the next one, cheers. Not cheers. Hang on, time out, not cheers. 8.9%. I can't tell you this is anywhere in that realm. This is about, I don't know, tastes like it's about 7.5%. Just because I know there's a spirit in here and I can taste it a little bit, you can tell it's a little bit bigger, but nowhere near 9%. Just thought I'd point that out. Now we're really gonna cheers.